Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, dear listeners. This is Cometa Radio Africa, the mind, the journey, the destiny. We apply our mind to the journey that takes us to our destiny. That is our philosophy. We inform and entertain. We develop and educate. We empower and support. We associate and network. That is the idea. We are a business, entrepreneurship, and professional management services 24/7 internet streaming radio station. We broadcast music and talk shows across the world. Our objective is to use the African storytelling and Lekgotla conversation methodology in offering career coaching, education and learning guidance, continuous professional development, enterprise and entrepreneurship development, and connecting supply to demand. Our talk shows aim to affirm and support business professionals and entrepreneurs in their personal and professional journey of bringing a difference to the world. These are talk shows that recognize excellence and greatness. Professionals and entrepreneurs are invited as a recognition of the great contribution they are making to humanity. We have a network of associates, members and stakeholders who know our quality standards and therefore make recommendations to our production team. The conversations become lifelong account of our guests since they are recorded on Spreaker Studio and distributed on Cometa Podcast, Spreaker Podcast, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Castbox, Deezer, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and many more other platforms to be added. We are building a solid ecosystem of professionals and entrepreneurs committed to the empowerment of others. Collaboration across sectors, sharing of insights and knowledge, building a base for succession and inheritance, and safeguarding the legacies for generations after us. We inherited these legacies from our forefathers and mothers, not to waste them, but to pass them on to generations after us. That is our duty and responsibility. So the same principles that govern our organization are the principles that govern our Cometa Radio Africa, and they are win-win approach, holistic mindset, competency development, demanding accountability, ethical inclusive practice, and progressive transformation. My name is Sam Zimmer. I am the CEO and Executive Business Coach at Cometa, GOC International, Pty Limited, and of course, Executive Senior Presenter here at Cometa Radio Africa. I welcome to this talk at the moment my brother, Progress Mpangane. What a beautiful name. It can only be Progress. Greetings, my brother. How are you doing?
Thank you very much, Mr. Semtima. I really appreciate the invite wholeheartedly. It means a lot to me. Yes, I have a beautiful name. I hope this name, it will stick with me forever and ever, and then I continue meeting influential people like you, and I enjoy the life with you guys.
Lovely. The name has to live to its meaning, yeah.
For real, because if I was not living my name, I wouldn't know someone like you and other people I've met in my life through you and through the networks I have and the people I've met so far in life.
I must confess that since I've known you, you and I have remained so much in touch, and you have inspired me in so many ways. I still remember meeting you at that small office at the Cooperative Education Department of the Vaal University of I'm at Vaal University of Technology with my friend Alfie Maposa, throwing you into a deep end, and you've really not disappointed.
Yeah, for real, like it was a small office with lots of responsibilities, and even though we're in that small office, we're expected to execute our responsibilities through and through. And working with the likes of Vina, it was a huge responsibility on its own. So you always throw me in deep ends. I met you since that day. It's been 8 years ago now.
Yes, beautiful. Let's start first at your home base, Bushbuckridge in Mpumalanga,
Yes.
where you were born and you were brought up by the villagers there, or the township people there. Just tell the listeners in detail, who is Progress Mpangane, who are the Mpanganes, if I may you say so, and how was it growing up in Bushbuckridge? Where did you go to your kindergarten, primary school, and high school? Just so that people can connect this progress that you are making with the name and where it comes from. And a little bit about your family and siblings, if you have, and then we'll build up from there to where you are today.
Thank you very much. You know, I have an interesting background. Basically, I was born in Natalspruit, in Johannesburg. So I grew up in Bushbuckridge, you know. We moved to Bushbuckridge because my mom was ill, and then she had to relocate there to be with her family. So I always pride myself that I'm from Bushbuckridge, you see, but my ID, when you punch it, it says I'm from Gauteng, but I always say I'm from Bushbuckridge because Bushbuckridge has made me, has inspired me, has made me hungry so that I can dream big, I can go to the city and live like everyone else. I grew up in a family who were 6 at home. I'm the last born, raised by a single mother. My mom, I love her so much. Raylina, unfortunately, she's not going to listen to her, but with some channels, I will make her listen to this conversation. I was raised by her. She's the one who always inspired me to say, I'm a single parent, but what I want from you, I want what's best for you. That was so beautiful. I started my primary school at Cunningmore Primary School. That's where I started writing my first name and all this thing. I learned a lot from that primary school, and then I went to high school, Hoyo-hoyo High School. That's where we started to know the world, started to explore the world. That's where I always say that high school, it's in the rural area. That high school, it has inspired all of us with my classmates to say, guys, we don't belong in Bushbuckridge. Let us work hard. Let us pass our matric. Let us take our studies further so that we can better ourselves. And yes, I lived to that, and then I completed my matric, and then I went to the university.
Wow, beautiful introduction. So let's just take it back a little bit. Growing up, did you grow up in the town, Bushbuckridge itself, or did you grow up in a village, and what was the name of the village?
Yeah, I grew up in the village called Cunningmore. Cunningmore, like if you know Bushbuckridge, you know, it's next to Oakley. Mm-hmm. Some they pass by when they go to Tulamahashi. It's close to those places around there. That's where I grew up in Cunningmore.
Yes.
So that's why my primary was Cunningmore A.
I
so
see.
It was... Yes, so that's how it is. So I grew up in Cunningmore A. If you're from Hazelview, if you know Bushbuckridge, if you're from Hazelview, you pass Mkuhlu and Otley, and then you go to Cunningmore. That's where I grew up.
Beautiful. And tell me, how is the life in Cunningmore? Are there cattle there? Are there sheep? Are there goats? What did you grow up doing that many of us grew up doing in the villages? Were you a head boy?
No.
So you don't know how to milk the cow?
To be honest, I have only learned how to milk a cow through my friend Malamba, because they had cows there. So every weekend, before we can go and play soccer, we will pass by his place. May his father's soul rest in peace. He always wanted what's great for us. So I cannot say I was a head boy. I used to accompany Malamba to the bush. You know, sometimes when you want your friend to always play with him, and all the time your friend is always in the bush. So one day we say, guys, this weekend we're going with our friend to the bush, because we used to go to school together, we play together. But on weekends, the father will say, no, this week, it's only you going there, you see?
Yeah.
So we'll go there and fun. All was good, but the first-hand experience, I don't have it from home because we never had cows. I've always loved soccer. So during my spare time, by that time, when others are going to the bush with the cows, and then I will be playing soccer. But I do have a little bit experience.
Okay,
yes.
Good stuff. What was your soccer name?
I still have it even today. My friends, they call me Chico. There was a guy called Chico Lawrence.
Oh, yes.
There was a guy called Chico Lawrence. He was playing. Yes. I love it, that name. Even today, they still call me Chico. There's a guy called Chico Lawrence, was playing for Super Sports United. You see, my coach used to say, man, the way you play, you're lazy, but your impact in the field is marvelous.
Good stuff. And you learned to balance the schoolwork with sports and fun, right?
Yes, I didn't have a choice. Remember, at home, they always told me, go to school, go to school. Like, sports was extramural activities, and I loved soccer. I could play. I remember sometime, also I grew up in a Christian family. My mom on Sundays wanted me to go to church, you see, and my coach would be like, no, we need him to come and play, because I was the captain of our team by then. Like, I remember I played for Cunningmore United, Young Stars, Barcelona, Amateur one, not the one from Spain. We had our own team there. So I was always trusted with the captainship responsibility. So I was the one all the time, you see.
Is it? Why do you think you were chosen captain?
You see, sometimes people, they can see what you don't see in yourself, and the impact I had around my friends. I was never alone. We were always talking. My friends always wanted me to be there. And then I think the coaches realized that this guy, if we can have him in the team, people will always come to practice all the time based on the conversation he had with this guy. So I was an open-minded person in the team, and I will inspire the guys. The guys, we are from Cunningmore in Bushbuckridge. We can play. Like, sometimes there were used to be the trials in Tulamahashi. We will go there for the trials, even though it will take the whole day just for that. But for us, we always had that thing to say, guys, this is it. Let us make use of it.
So Tulamahashi is the township of Bushbuckridge, right?
No, Tulamahashi, it's also a township in Bushbuckridge, because it's just advanced and it's a modern one, like, because we had the stadium there, Tulamahashi Stadium. We had the old and the new stadium now. Yes. So it was always a great spot for the recruiters to go there.
I see. Now tell me, at home, your other siblings, how are they? Are they still around? Are they working? Did they also go to school, or what situation prevails there?
Yeah, fortunately, all of us were still alive. And then my first brother, I come up from a family whereby everyone must go to school, you see, because my brothers, two of them are teachers, and my sister also a teacher, and my brother was a journalist for not the AN7, the newspaper, the New Age newspaper, and myself. Yes. So it was a family which always prompted me to go to school, to know more, to learn more, and be something they are not, of which today, when I sit around with them, like, I can say I'm not where I want to be, but what I've seen, they have not seen. So, meaning they played an important role in me, and wherever they are also proud to say, we know this guy, you see. Like, for example, I always brag to them, especially when there are events at home, to say, I've been in a plane more than 50 times and I'm to find out. You see, especially my mom will be like, wow. You see, in a plane, she used to have a problem. I remember there was a plane crash, I think in Pretoria.
Yes.
And then I was on my way to Cape Town, because all the time when I travel, especially with work, I just told her that I will be going to this province, I'll be going to this. So she called me, I don't know, before she called me, I called her. From Durban is 45 minutes, an hour, to Cape Town 2 hours like that. And I'm saying, I'm at the airport now, I'm going to Durban. After an hour, I called her again, she was very shocked. You see, so those things, I think I play an important role to them, because I'm teaching them things, or I'm making them aware of certain things they have not seen. But through me, I can share with them, and then we have fun. So it's a family which we always motivate each other. We grow the way we are today.
Beautiful story. So did you always know when you were in your grade 11 and 12 what you were going to be pursuing as a career, or did it happen by default that you landed at the VUT?
No. Basically, remember, I grew up loving soccer, so of course I had those ambitions that I'm going to play soccer and I'm going to study sports management because of my love of soccer. After I retired, I'll be in that field. But something interesting happened. My brother, remember, was a journalist, so I used to admire him, when he goes to work, this guy is going to work, he's meeting people, but just going to school. So I applied for journalism in Vaal. When I applied for journalism, we had to write a test. So the guy who was marking, Mr. Johnson, he came to me and said, no, man, I cannot advise you to go to journalism. Go to public relations, because lots of journalists today, they divert to public relations because of their ability to write and to communicate. And so just go there and kill two birds with one stone. And I never let that opportunity down. I just went for PR. Since that day, my first day in class, I'm enjoying every moment.
So that was the best advice you ever got?
Yeah, that's the best advice I ever got, because I love networking, I love talking to people, and I know in journalism I would have an opportunity to network with different people. But in PR, because in public relations, remember, you're the brain behind what the organization is currently pursuing. So you are there, you form part of the influencing team, and whatever happens, you have an opportunity to say, I want this event to be like this. So in PR, I'm more involved than someone inviting me to write a story, to take pictures. So in PR, it's more interesting than in journalism, I think.
So PR is your dream job, and it happened to become a reality.
Yeah, thanks to Mr. Johnson for opening my eyes. And with my current research also, I think I was going to be bored in journalism. So it's my dream job. I'm just living my dream now.
Good stuff. So let's just go back to grade 12. Which subjects did you take?
Yeah. You see, where I come from, and even today, I'm working hard just to change the circumstances we found ourselves in the past. You see, then I took history, geography, business management, and English, and my home language. You see, and then those courses, as much as I don't regret to be where I am today, but maybe I should have chosen better subjects, but I don't regret at all.
Yeah. And your home language is? Okay, beautiful. How did you do? What results did you achieve in grade 12?
When you ask me that question, it reminds me of my maths teacher. Say, guys, take these subjects very serious. You see, I got in 50 in mathematics, but you guys don't want to come to class. Just come to class and get a 50. I didn't get those flying colors because of maybe the influence was not that much. If I had the same energy and drive I have now, and understanding that the more you get good grades, companies will come after you, bursaries and so forth. So my goal was I want to see myself in the university. That was my ultimate goal.
Yes, and then that happened. So tell me why Vaal University of Technology?
You see, my brother studied there. He's photographer. He studied there. So for my mom, I think it was fair because she walked the road, so she understood that Vaal is affordable by that time. And for me, it was also good to go and study where my brother was studying. So yes, I didn't know anything about Vaal. I only knew through my brother.
Yeah. And did you get the scholarship?
No, I did not get a scholarship. My mom and NSFAS contributed to qualifications that I have now.
Why did you not get scholarship? You didn't apply for it.
To be honest, my marks were not that wow. You see, I remember I just wanted to be in the university. That's all I wanted then.
I always say that there is a certain practice here in South Africa which we need to change yes. Because I think the grade and 12 students must not start worrying about funding for their studies there at the grade 12. I think it should start in grade 11 and apply and then be told that we like your application, but everything depends on your grade 12 results. Then you will work very hard in grade 12.
I fully agree with you because remember I went for Vaal University of Technology first. I had an opportunity to attend exhibitions. That's when I realized that other people, they don't have the information that can help them work hard in matric. Like myself also, I didn't know. I just pass and pass and pass. But through those exhibitions, we're emphasizing to say, work hard, don't mind where you come from. If you can excel in your grade 12 results, companies will look for you. And you will know first before the other learners know that they passed or failed because you'll be contacted first. So that is the message we were sharing to them to say, this is it, this is like that. That's why it's just like this year it's just 1 year which kind of like I can say distracted a lot of players because of the COVID. We couldn't, but one of the best things, especially with the knowledge that I have today, it's also to give back to the community because I've realized that we have lots of students in universities who don't know exactly what they studied. They studied through peer pressure to say, because he is a PR, he's doing very well, he's all over, I think it's best for me. Only to find out that person deserves to be an artisan, he's good in artistic careers and so forth.
Absolutely. I'm very glad to hear that you want to go back and plow back into the community and share the knowledge. And really, honestly, we really need to make our people start worrying about post-high school journeys long before they are in grade 12. Grade 12 is not the year to be wondering and worrying about what next. Grade 12 is the year in which they should be focusing on producing great results. Of course, if you have not applied for university in time, you haven't even tried to apply for your studies, you haven't even tried to look for loans and NSFAS, you are going to be distracted because you will be, it's like you are here today, but you are tomorrow in mind. So you can't produce results today. So I wish that could become the focus of your project that you will be doing in your community. But we'll get back to that. Now you finished your studies. I'm sure passing the grade 12 was a great news to your mom.
She was so excited. Remember, I'm the last born, and I was her last responsibility. I remember for my diploma, she came to my graduations, and for my BTech, she didn't attend to say, I've been there, I've seen it. So
yeah, she said that this young one is big enough now to fly on his own.
I remember I had to convince her to say, Mom, I want to continue with my studies for BTech. She said, you're on your own, you see. And by that time, I was so lucky because NSFAS by that time was also funding for BTech. Now, they are no longer funding. So I was one of the fortunate generation to have benefited through that, because I convinced my mom to say, I want to further my studies, I want to do my BTech. Thank you for the diploma, and thank you for attending for my diploma graduation, but she was not there for my BTech. But I understood, she did her part.
Wonderful. Now you are at the university. I keep on taking you back because I want to fill up in the gap so people can have a proper build-up of your journey. So you arrived first year and trying to find your way. How was the shock of being at the university? And where were you accommodated? And how was the life in Gauteng, back in Gauteng and more so in the Vaal? Where did you stay? And what activities at the university did you do? When did you know about the Cooperative Education Office? What other aspect of life at the university other than studies were you engaged in?
Remember, I went to the university with through my brother's influence and background of the university. So when I got there, my first day, I was welcomed by his friends who accommodated me, because it seems like he had a good relationship with his friends who were still in the university. So my first day was so good. I can't complain. I didn't have a lot of challenges because I had people who wanted me to graduate, to get there. But life in the city, it was a shock because I was coming back now as a young boy who's never been there. The taxis around, you go to Bree, go to Germiston. I remember when I go home, I used to use Germiston route instead of Johannesburg because of the way people are so many in Johannesburg. I was so scared. But I really enjoyed being in the university. And again, by nature, I think the best way to put it, I can say by nature, I don't have problems to make friendship with people. So I was very active. I always wanted to know what was happening in the university. And how did I know about cooperative education? During that time, there was a company called Student Village. They used to go to different universities and publish a magazine, you see. So I joined, a friend of mine told me that there's an office called Cooperative Education. In that office, that's where you can apply to be one of the promoters of Student Village, because that office, it was also administering those things. So I went there. I remember I was told to wait for 6 months because they already took. So one guy graduated and I was fit in. When I was there, I met Annie Muletan. Now she's the director now.
Yes.
Since Vina left. I met Annie. We worked very well with Annie. And then she asked me, what are you studying? I said, public relations. And she's like, I want you. You see, that's why your energy is different. And she also helped me to get in service training in that department through my involvement with the student village activities, the energy that I had, how we used to distribute questionnaires, how we used to promote different products of student village by that time. So she said to me, there is someone who's currently busy with the internship. When that person is done, I want you in the office. That's where my new life started, and I started to dream big because that's when I met Alfie, I met Lena. You see, those are the people when I work with them. I remember my internship, it was supposed to be 6 months, but I stayed long in that office until I remember I joined in 2010 and then until 2012, of which I was the first intern to stay that long. I don't know even today, but I stayed longer in that office because of my energy and the way I understood everyone in the department and the mission and the vision of cooperative education. I always had thoughts to say, maybe I was going to stay in the university, but unfortunately, this is life.
That was the dream team. I remember very well. I was the head of HR at Motorola Southern Africa when we started recruiting engineering students from VUT. It was I remember that team very well, led by our friend Alfie Vina Maposa. Annie Muletan, as you mentioned, was there. Priscilla Manzini, I think she's Priscilla Samboli now because she's married, I can't remember the news name, but it was Priscilla Manzini, Lena Dreyer, Carlene, yes, Carlene, what's the name? Prince Ed.1 Mavelani. I don't know, when did Simon Muhlala come? It was after your time?
Yeah, it was after our time, yes.
Yes, so you can see that the relationship comes along from a long time ago, and that was a great team, and I think Annie is holding on even there. And look at it now; they produce this greatness in you. You will always have that chapter as a reference point, and it's wonderful. So just share with our listeners, especially those who perhaps are still wanting to follow after you. I'm talking about the young ones who are at the high schools. Yes. What is it about you that made it so easy for you to progress that well at the university, even to a point where you get spotted by the cooperative education colleagues like Eni Molezane, as you've said, that you want to share with them and encourage them to build that their personality influenced by you to really get yeah.
To be honest, having the right attitude can take you places. I always had the right attitude, and I always knew what I wanted, and I've always wanted to say, I want to be remembered doing something. I want my name to count. Like whenever they talk, for example, if they talk about cooperative education, say there was once progress at cooperative education, and again when they talk about VUT, my name also must also appear there. And I can tell you, even now, when I move around, people they go like, "But we thought you were gonna stay at VUT because of the influence that you have." Because I was also an activist by that time. You know, a lot of people knew me. Even today, when I go to places, they still respect me for that, to say, thank you for assisting us during those time of your activity time. And also my drive, I think my drive and character also plays an important role in making sure that when you meet people, when you meet different people, don't pretend. You say, let them know your intentions and know their intentions, and then you walk this beautiful journey together. And for me, I always knew that if I don't work hard in the university, if I don't take my studies serious, I will go back home. Nothing, you see. I didn't want to be one of the statistics to say, I went to the university, but I didn't complete. So I always knew from day one that at the end of the day, I must complete everything that I have started. And I've achieved that so far.
And your BTech was also in public relations.
Yes, it was also in public relations, yes.
Now tell the listeners and the learners, especially that are still coming after you, what does the diploma in public relations and BTech in public relations entails?
You see, the diploma is one interesting diploma because it covered different aspects. You see, like for example, I had courses like communication science, I have advertising and marketing, I had videology, and media studies is my favorite. So when you enroll for a public relations course, from the word go, you know that you're spoiled for choice according to your strength, what you want to become. If I wanted to be in media, my diploma should have qualified me for that. In marketing, or if I wanted to edit videos, I wanted to be in media and so forth. So the qualification is an interesting qualification because when you study, already you have different knowledge of different subjects or spheres or industries by just with one qualification. That's why it always been easy for me that wherever I go, like for example with the cooperative education where I started, you see, with that knowledge, it assisted me to say today I must behave like a media person. Tomorrow we are pushing the brand, we are not playing. Tomorrow, the following day, it's communication. You see, we must persuade, we must do this. We must persuade students to come and register with us. Remember, we were assisting students to find in-service training. So with my diploma, it worked on my advantage during that time. Even now, because I don't have a straightforward course. For example, I'm a teacher and so forth. So this one, I can still wake up tomorrow and say, now let me no longer work on the brands. Like now, let me just go to the media and write. Let me go to the media or become a spokesperson and so forth.
So there's no way that you can do public relations diploma and be unemployed. Ne?
It's a trick question because I do have other friends who are unemployed. I do have friends who are not in my field now. But I can tell you, if you can meet the right people, you can have the right drive. I'm telling you, you won't be unemployed for long. You will eventually get something.
I mean, I can just imagine it's a little bit difficult to believe that a PR person, qualified PR person, can be unemployed. If you think of it, I'm sure you can stand on the street corner and say, are you struggling to write an application letter? I'm going to help people to write work application letters. That is work. I'm going to help people write articles in the newspapers. That's work. I'm going to help people post things on social media, put the content together. That is work. So I don't mean being employed, but you could be creating work for yourself. Maybe it's easy for us because our cognitive ability and thinking ability is developed. Maybe some people who are just fresh from university, maybe they still need a little bit of more hand holding and But I'm just saying this is one of the most relevant qualifications, I guess.
I fully agree because even myself, there was a time in my life I was unemployed, but I always had piece job. Like I remember one project I did with Sandile Memela. He's one of my friends. Sandile, it's an author. I had his books. We will just do magic. I remember organizing him like interviews. Yeah. We had a good job. Like I always knew myself that even though I can say I'm unemployed because of my H1, but I always had something in mind to do something. Even with Vina, we had projects going on. So with a PR qualification, you can always start up something. Even today, we have people like on Twitter, their job is to update. Their job is to update.
Yes.
You can create your own blog. You see, you can be a freelancer. You can have your own product. You can promote someone's product. But remember, our mindset. That's why maybe we limit ourselves because people they believe that when you are working, it's when you go to work at 8 o'clock and knock off at 4:30. And let me tell you an interesting story. You see, since this pandemic, I've realized that actually going to office is just a thing of the past because I can be at home and still be productive, meet deadlines, and so forth. So, meaning that if one day I decide to say, let me start my own company and focus on it, I can work beautiful at home without having an office and so forth. And that also opened my mind to say, why do you have to rent an office? Why you have to rent an office if you have your room? If you have you see, where you can have a peace of mind. It could be your office. You just have to make sure you have your cell phone, you have your internet, and you have your laptop, and always keep your word. When you have an agreement, deliver on time. I think that's the best thing. So I would say in PR, being unemployed, it's rare.
Yeah, I agree with you. And what will you say are the challenges of the university life?
There are a lot of challenges in the university life because one, you're on your own, you don't know people there, you have to make friends. Sometimes when you're hungry and you don't know where to go, you have to wait for month end. If you can finish your grocery before month end, those are some of the challenges. Sometimes, and loneliness, because we have picked up that loneliness is one of the challenges in the university. People, they don't perform to their best abilities because of loneliness. Now, some people and peer pressure is killing a lot of people in the universities. Those are some of the challenges. If they can find you very weak mentally, you might have a serious problem and end up like you don't continue with your studies and drop out.
So you obviously you did not stay on campus by sound of things.
No, I didn't stay on campus. I only stayed in campus when I was doing my BTech, because while I stayed, they stole some of my clothes. And by virtue, by that time I was doing my intern at the university, and then I speak with the rest management to say, I'm doing BTech, guys. So because my job requires me to travel a lot, even myself, I'm not safe. I didn't have a car. So staying in campus, so when you come with the company car, you just drop it and walk to the residences. So it worked on my advantage. That's how I enjoyed the rest life. And I have a lot of memories staying outside of the residence, because you leave the library sometimes at 10 because of you cannot study at the commune. You, like, every time when you walk to school, you are inspired to say, I want to buy a car. This life must end. I cannot work at night. It's very cold. So I would say I had an opportunity of the best of both worlds, staying off and on campus. I enjoyed that.
Wonderful. I always say that staying on university rest is really, it grooms you. You know, you have got these common rooms where you sit together with other students and you watch TV and you listen to all talks, and you have got these coffee corners where you sit and you have coffee. You actually, and when you go to the corporate world, you find out this is actually how it is. This is, you are with people, you meet in meeting rooms, you meeting in restaurants, you are in the corridors, you are chit-chatting, you watch TV, you go and study. Will you agree with me that if it was possible, it would be advisable that everybody experience it? But now we are caught by times. There is virtual campuses these days.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like you just took me back. Even off campus, if you stay with the right people, with the right mindset. I remember those Saturdays, mornings, all of us, we're not going to school, we just stay there because we cannot walk to the campus. The only distance we have to walk on a Saturday is to just go to the Pick and Pay there. But it was always nice because the conversations were common to say, guys, those who want to stay in the residency, they think they're much better and they're safe. Us here, we're not. Like, they used to have year-end functions, and when we stayed, we didn't have year-end functions. So everywhere, it was just an inspiration. We're inspired everywhere.
Yes.
And all of us, I'm glad, especially those I stay with, all of us, we are working from that house of Ndate CF. We are working, we are all well. It was so great. It was a great experience for me.
And I'm sure you still remember those wonderful evening sessions when you invite corporates to come to VUT and you celebrate the partnerships. Those are, I think, I used to see your smiles, you guys, like you felt like, phew, we brought all these big giants to our function.
For me, remember, I had a good working relationship with Vina, and Vina was exposed, and he trusted me. You see, even with his friends, he would give me your contacts. I'll call people. I remember when I was new, there was some point he said to me, "Call Jimmy Manye." The time he was with
BMF.
BMF. He was the president. He said, "Call Jimmy Manye and say 1, 2, 3." I didn't know by that time, but after I Googled him and we spoke very well with Jimmy, I realized like I'm speaking to a big man here by that time. And then a lot of people, like Vina, actually, I cannot write my story without mentioning him because he interested me. Through him or his influence and his directorship at the cooperative education, I got an opportunity to go and meet with the late Miles Monroe in Sentin. It was hosted by the Empower Works. I had an opportunity to see also Dr. John C. Maxwell. Also, I went there, like Dr. So, knowing Vina, it has always put pressure on me to say, my man, you are bigger than this.
Wow.
You see, just keep your head up, because the people I met through him, friends. I used to see them on TV. I read about them on newspaper. So that's what I'm saying. Maybe that's why I lasted longer there, the cooperative education, because of Vina always say, you can do this. You can do this. Just go there. Just be yourself. I had fun. Even the friends, like, you're not the only one. And this good friend of mine also, Simpiwe.
Yes.
Simpiwe Masiza.
Yes.
I've known him for him while he was there starting his thing, and now he's a big guy. And they don't forget me. Like, they invited me recently. I even though I felt like, you know what, I was the small fish there. They had the men's conference.
Yes.
And I was invited because our relationship dates back 10 years ago, you see. So a lot of people I met during my time in varsity are people I still interact with. I haven't lost the touch with the people. Their numbers, I still have them. And sometimes when I need something which is close to their expertise, I contact them, I email them, they reply on time. I don't wait for a longest time. So I think VUT and Vina has played an important role in my life to be a person I am, the confidence, my confidence now, even where I am today, you see, I'm working with the big guys. Like, when I'm with them, I'm not shaking or anything because I was prepared in the past to say, speak your mind, treat them with respect, you'll get the respect. And mastering that, today it benefits me. You'll be chilling with people like, wow, these people, just to have their attention, it's going to take you 6 months just to sit down with them. But for me, I think it's easy now.
Beautiful, beautiful. And indeed, they need to be appreciated for the great mentoring that they've given you. And you were never converted into permanent employee at VUT?
Yeah, no, I was never converted. Like, I had a contract, and I got an opportunity just to leave VUT.
Yeah. And so all in all, it was how many years post your graduation at the cooperative education?
The time I spent at cooperative education?
Yes, at VUT.
At VUT, because I have 3 lives there. I have life as a student, I have life as an employee.
Yeah.
I remember when I was doing my BTech also, I was not working. My contract was discontinued because of budgets and so forth.
Yes.
So, on my side is, I think I spent my great 8 years in VUT with all the things I've done. As a student, as an employee, yes.
Yes. And what is great about this is that you prioritize learning and growing than money, because I'm sure you could have tried and get a much more paying job in the public sector, in the private sector out there.
Yes, because remember we were always told to say they're going to phase out the diploma, so at least must have a BTech. By that time, we had to work hard just to get it. So it was always in my mind to say, this is not the end. Continue, you see. Like, especially with our profession, it's always good just to study and complete, because today you're in Durban, tomorrow you're in Cape Town, you're in Port Elizabeth. It's always traveling. It's not easy. So it needs a serious discipline. Unfortunately, next year, that's when I'm just going to do my BA in communication. I'm going to study with our current university now. So I'm still going to do that, but I know it's going to be very tough for me because you're always there. You have to be there. So meaning, if I'm outside and then they're sleeping at 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock, I'll be studying, and 6 o'clock, because remember our profession, you're the first to arrive and the last to leave.
Yes.
So I'll always prioritize that, because especially if you're a producer of an event, you are hands-on. Like, you see, like myself, I always say, with my job, I'm just a small boy. You just run around. You always make sure everything is good. And you only celebrate when, for example, when the Vice Chancellor or the CEO of that organization say, thank you, this was a beautiful event.
Then you relax.
And remember our job also, it is rare to hear your name being mentioned after a successful event. And if your name appears there, you must be the happiest person ever, because we are behind the scene. We are interacting with all the stakeholders. So some stakeholders, they just know you through the emails and all these things, through telephone. And when they get to the event, they want you first. And sometimes you don't give them that opportunity because you are the the producer of the event. So after that, when say you send them thank you notes, so that's how they interact.
Beautiful.
So,
beautiful. Let's hold it there, and when we come back, we're going to talk more about what you are currently doing at the Northwest University.